Do you suffer? Hey, those are blue light glasses, so I actually don't need them to see. But I do to protect my little, protect my little peanut brain. It's not gross. I know what it looks like, but it's just diluted matcha. The leftover matcha that I poured into my water. It's not disgusting. I'm making this a judgment-free zone, where I won't judge you and you are not allowed to judge me. It's okay, so I thought what we could do today, I got two. Totally not a big deal though. And if you only have one, like, that's totally okay too. I thought what we could talk today about is self-objectification, social media, and how to stop feeling ugly. Because I will tell you something. I recently made my way back onto social media. And at first, no, I'm not gonna start it like that. So I recently made my way back onto social media, and I noticed that like pretty quickly after doing that, because listen, I think social media, no, oh my god. If I could stay on one track of thought for like a second, I would be so grateful. Okay, so when I got back on social media, I noticed that like I kind of started feeling worse about my appearance, and I would like compare myself a bit. And I was talking to a friend, and she was saying how like it's not like you kind of like you could be so content with your life and so happy with everything, but then as soon as you go online, it makes you kind of realize that or it makes you compare, and you're like, well, I'm already like content and happy. I have like friends, I like myself, you know, whatever it is. But once you get on Instagram or on social media, sometimes you just start comparing, and it kind of gives you that like lacking mindset, because you realize what you don't have, where it's like maybe you love your friends, but you might also love being in Greece with them. Or like maybe you love your boyfriend, but this relationship seems so fun, or like something like that. I'm not in a relationship, and I know, listen, I just noticed this when I was getting changed. It looks, wait, where is it? This? This, like, it looks like a hickey. I promise you it is not. I am not smooching or getting smooched. Trust me, if I could change that, I would, but I'm not. Anyway, and this friend who is a genius, like, I literally think all my friends are so geniuses and like so hot and funny and smart. I think they're perfect to me. Anyway, she was saying how like when you I think she saw this in like a tweet or a TikTok or something, but like when you have a lacking mindset, you'll never be happy. Like until you can get content with what you already have, you won't be happy. I don't know if that was really the full message of it, but that's what stuck with me. And I kind of think with social media, it's so easy to just compare yourself, which is like, okay, we all know that because we all do it. Even if you were previously like happy with what your life was like, it can just lead to so much comparison. And we all know that people are just posting the highlights and the good parts and all that, but it can still lead to that. So I'm trying to figure out like, how can I have a good relationship with social media? Because I think that social media can be such a powerful and positive thing. It's really great for organizing. It's great for spreading a message. It's great for connecting with people and staying in touch with people that you might otherwise not as much. It can be nice to, you know, kind of maintain connections with people. And I know I did a previous video about why I removed like half of my followers, and it was because there were so many connections that I was just like, this is not even real. Like, we don't actually know each other. We don't talk. Why are we following each other? But I also think at the same time, and I don't think these things have to contradict each other, that social media is a great way for staying in touch with people that you might otherwise not. And for some people, there's a reason you don't stay in touch, so it's like, why keep them in your social media bubble? But sometimes it's just like, you know, life is busy. You moved, they moved, you don't live in the same place anymore, you know, whatever it is. And that, I think, can be great to have those connections with people. And it also allows me to like reach out to you guys and talk with you. But I think, but I kind of realized like, wow, it's making my self-image a little worse. However, okay, there's a guy, there's someone right outside my window, and he pulled his shirt up and he was wearing a crop top for a second. Love crop tops, nothing about that. Nothing about men wearing them. I think that's great. I just was not expecting to see a belly button when I looked out the window, you know what I mean? Anyway, so I noticed that like being on social media again, it was making me feel like kind of worse about my appearance, but not in a way that was affecting how I actually felt overall. And I was like, that is such a point of growth, because it used to be that like if I felt ugly, it was like nothing is worth doing. I'm crying in my bed. I'm like not gonna be able to do anything except think about like how ugly I am, you know what I mean? Where like you see a bad photo and you're like, was no one going to tell me that I look like this? But now it's like when I see a photo that I'm like don't look that good, and you know what, I'll put one in right here, because I was just like, Josie, my friend Josie, I was like, girl, why would you send me this? And like I don't even care anymore, you know what I mean? Like there's a time where if I saw a bad photo of myself not even too long ago, I might feel like pretty shitty about myself. But I just want to talk today about how, a bit about like how I got to this point and how you can as well, because I think a lot of us get stuck in the cycle of like feeling ugly, self-objectification. I think social media can really influence that and impact that, and kind of like how can we have a good relationship with social media. So yeah, that's kind of what this video is going to be about, and if you're interested in any of those topics, stick around. Okay, also, okay, wait, I used to be a dancer. Let's see if I can still... These pants, they are so fun. I got them when I was going to the eating disorder clinic, and they were like, you can't have pockets, and I was like, okay, fuck you. But I've still got pants without pockets. So so these ones are just like Hanes. I've had them for a few years, and I love them. They're just like thin fabric. This is not sponsored, but they have a hole in the bottom, which like I could easily patch up, but it's just like, where are the needles? You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's unrelated, but I just really like these pants, and my outfit is kind of rocking right now, even though I already filmed earlier today. But I was like, I need to do an outfit change so no one knows, even though I'm obviously going to tell them. Anyway, okay, so let's start with feeling ugly. So listen, in the book Beauty Sick by Renee Engeln, which I highly recommend reading, in that book she talks about how like studies have shown, and I know that I'm one of those bitches who's constantly like, studies have shown, but like then don't actually have the studies. They are in that book. The sources are in that book, so just read it. But the more we pay attention to our appearances, the worse we feel about them, even if we're paying attention to them and liking what we see. But the more we are aware of it, still, the worse we feel overall and the lower our self-esteem is. So whether you are seeing yourself all the time and hating what you see, your self-esteem will be low. But even if you're looking at yourself all the time and liking what you see, ultimately overall you're still going to feel worse about your appearance, because you're so focused on it and because it plays such a prominent role in your life. And so people have talked about how like models have such bad self-esteem, and you'd think that these people who are literally, they get jobs for their looks, you think that they feel great about themselves, but really they're still being picked apart, and they're being valued on their appearance, which ultimately makes you feel worse. And also a lot of women's clothing, but like clothing designed for women, like things that are form-fitting, things that like show off your boobs, things that like are tight, or you know, whatever it is, or like shapewear. So much of clothing that is traditionally made for women, like whether it's a tight dress, a crop top, whatever it is, it's uncomfortable, you know, like high heels, it makes you uncomfortable. And because you're so aware of how the clothes and how the accessories and how whatever is hitting your body, or because you're so aware of like making sure your hair stays in place or that your makeup is still, you know, like not running or whatever, because you're still paying attention to it, you feel worse. And it makes you aware of your body and your physical self in a way that you wouldn't be if you didn't have to care about it, you know? But because women are so valued based on our opinion, or whoa, opposite of that, because we're so valued based on our appearances, not our opinions, we do have to think about those things sometimes, and not because we should, but sometimes it's like, if I go to a job interview, I know they're probably gonna think of me better if I go looking put together, and if I go with makeup done, and when I go like wearing a nicer outfit than what I'm wearing right now, you know what I mean? And so really the solution to feeling ugly, I think, is not trying to feel beautiful or convince yourself that you are beautiful, or doing affirmations that are like, I am beautiful. Because I watched a TikTok that was like, the key to being beautiful, or like being that girl or whatever, is like doing whatever makes you feel prettiest. Find find the makeup look that makes you the prettiest, or that makes you feel the prettiest. And it's like, the solution to not feeling good about how you look should not be changing how you look or trying to be beautiful. What will really free you from that self-objectification cycle is just stopping giving so much attention to how you look. Like, now I'm able to give attention to how I look in some ways. Like, I have mascara on, I have lip gloss on, but I had to go through a period where I was just like, no, I cannot wear makeup. I cannot get ready. I need to get comfortable with how I naturally am, and stop caring so much about it, and like stop trying to look perfect on social media, and stop like, you know, taking selfies all the time. And I find that like the less I'm taking selfies, the less I'm like taking content of myself. And obviously for YouTube it's like, nah, not much of a way around it, but the better I feel about myself, because I'm just not paying attention to it as much, and it allows me to have the energy for other things and to value myself beyond what I look like. Because when you are placing your worth in how you look, you're not going to feel good. And to free yourself from self-objectification, you have to stop viewing yourself as just your looks. You have to stop valuing yourself for your appearance. Because if you think about it, you wouldn't do the same thing to your other people in your life, you know? You wouldn't be like, oh, this friend is like really nice, but she's ugly, so I don't like her, you know? Like, you would never ever do that. You just don't think about people you love as like for their appearances at all. You're not like, oh, they're, you know what I mean? And I can guarantee you that a lot of you, unless you've got like different values, are not valuing people based on their appearance. And so to do so to yourself is just not fair. It's not treating yourself like your best friend. It's not treating yourself with compassion and gentleness. And, you know, it's not really holding space for yourself as a person. It's reducing you to something that is so not representative of who you actually are. Because no matter what your appearance looks like, it gives no indication of what kind of person you are. It gives no indication of like your belief systems, your values, how you treat people, the things you're interested in, and all those things that actually matter and make up so much more of what a person truly is than how they look, or who a person is, not what. And so just not giving that attention to how you look, and not like taking photos all the time, not, you know, trying to, and like so many TikTok trends are just about beauty confirmation. And by beauty, it's obviously not actually beauty. It's usually just like upholding the beauty standard, which is Eurocentric, it's racist, it's capitalist, it's misogynistic. There's so much wrong with it. And so to be placing your worth on if you fit this standard or not is obviously hard to not do, because that standard is there. It is so pervasive. We are all bombarded with it all the time. But really, it's not an indication of if you're actually beautiful or not. And furthermore, your beauty is not the most important thing about you, because you are beautiful. But that's not what matters most about who you actually are. So you gotta start, you know, doing things outside of how you look. Like, maybe you love playing hockey, maybe you love painting, maybe you love playing the piano, or maybe you love going for walks, maybe you're a really great friend, maybe you take such good care of your animals. Whatever it is, those are things that actually matter. And so I want you to start valuing yourself based on those things, and not just the outside, because that's ultimately not what matters. And once you do that, once you stop seeing your looks as the most important thing, like, whether you think you look beautiful or whether you think you look atrocious, it won't have as much of a hold over you. It won't influence you so much. It won't throw you off your rocker. It won't do anything, because you realize, or maybe it'll do something where you're like, oh, that's not a good photo, but it won't like ruin your self-esteem, because your self-worth has been based on all these other things that actually matter instead. So that's what I have to say about coping with feeling ugly, and that plays into social media. Like, don't participate in those TikTok trends that are like, is your face symmetrical, or like stuff like that, because it does not matter. Get off TikTok if that's something that is making your self-esteem worse, and I think for a lot of people it does. You know, unfollow people on Instagram that you find yourself comparing yourself to, or mute them. And just like, and I know that's hard to do sometimes. I find that I compare myself sometimes to like influencers, and it's just like, it doesn't really, you know, whatever, it doesn't really gain it, I don't gain anything from it. But I think once you like stop doing that, you're able to, you know, keep up with what people are doing and not have it be like, because they are doing this or because they look like this, it says something about me, because really those things are completely independent of each other, you know what I mean? And then actually, since this video has been a bit long, I don't think I'm going to talk about like having a healthy relationship with social media in general, so I'll do that as a separate video. But I just kind of wanted to talk a bit about how like social media can make us feel ugly, it can lead us to compare ourselves, it can make us think that we are not good enough, but that's really not true. And once you can establish a healthier relationship with how you view yourself and how you can stop self-objectifying, oh my gosh, sorry, people outside are like looking inside and I don't know if they like can see me talking to you. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about like self-objectification and getting around it and realizing that your worth is not in your appearance, it is not in your body. And even though some people will value you, based on that, it doesn't say anything about what actually matters, because anyone who actually values people based on how they look is a shitty person. So that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching.